And we are live. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. Making sure everything is going good. Okay. Looks like we're in business. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the stream. I thank you guys for joining. I'm Jay. This is my channel where I discuss wisdom for the modern man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for showing up. Today, guys, we have a really important topic to get into. A very important topic to get to. And the topic of today, as you guys can see in the title, is how to identify a high value woman, right? I think this is necessary now more than ever. I mean, there are so many red flags to look out for, and it's very difficult nowadays to identify what is high value and what it due to lack of leadership and lack of, a masculine figure in their life has missed out on this kind of guidance and wisdom that would help them to identify the types of women that are worthy of a relationship and the kind of women that are not. So today what we're going to do is we're going to react to a video. It's going to be using it as a teaching tool to help me get through this and identify the points and the traits that a man should be looking for when he's searching for a high value woman and all that. Guys, if you're joining the stream, please go ahead and like the video. That definitely helps with engagement, helps me to push it out to more people. I'm trying to grow the channel and get this to 1,000 subscribers. I want to do that by the end of the month. I think we could do that in the next few weeks, but definitely by the end of the month. Actually, I think we can surpass that goal, if I'm being honest. Subscribe to the channel. But without further ado, let's get right into the video.
History does not pity the fool who chooses the wrong woman. That is the unspoken law every man eventually learns. But most learn it when it's already too late, standing over the grave of their own potential, wondering how the hell they let their kingdom fall without firing a single shot. You see, the world will never warn you. Your mother won't. Your friends can't. And society? It profits from your blindness. But Machiavelli, not tragedy, but the wrong woman he foolishly let inside his life. And while the masses sell you dreams of loyalty, love, and happily ever after, Machiavelli whispers the truth. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. You're not here to be entertained. You're here to survive. And what I'm about to tell you, no one else will dare to say aloud. There are only two types of women in this world.
And there's the first point. There are only two types of women: beneficial and destructive. It comes down to this, guys. Is she an asset or not? Point blank, period. Beneficial or destructive. There's no middle ground in between. There's no neutral. What value does she bring into your life? You have to evaluate this. It needs to be quantifiable. You need to take a piece of paper and write these things down. A lot of the times men don't assess the woman's value because by default they believe just because she's bringing sex into their life that is enough. I'm telling you guys, evaluate her value. Two types of women: beneficial or destructive. And if you choose the destructive one, it is going to cost you greatly. And a lot of men learn this down the line after choosing their life, but you don't have to take that path and end up screwing up your life. Learn this before you make that mistake. Evaluate the woman based on what she brings into your life. All right? This is not a game. It's not about looks. It's not about sex. It's about value. But let me go on to the next point.
No gray area. You are either upgrading your life by choosing her, or you are slowly killing yourself by letting her stay. And here's the cruel reality. Most women today have mastered the art of appearing beneficial while being nothing but parasites in disguise.
Most men, I would argue, are dating a parasite in disguise. You do not know just how much a woman can take away from your life unless you've made this mistake. You ever wonder why a woman comes into your life and your finances start to drain, right? You ever wonder why A woman comes into your life and all of a sudden your mental health, your happiness, your peace just declines. A parasite. Sexually, they come into your life and they use their sexual manipulation to gain leverage over you, to control your actions. Parasite. Your time, your energy, things that you used to, the time and energy you used to put forward into fulfilling your purpose, into accomplishing things in life, is now being sucked away by her. A constant attention drain. And you never get to fulfill your purpose. A parasite. A lot of modern women are indeed parasites. Even the point of after you divorce them or leave the relationship, many times, guess what? Child support, alimony, parasite. Still taking. Even after you've left, they're still taking. Choose wisely, men. Choose wisely, because the mistake of choosing the wrong woman will cost you in ways you wouldn't believe. And later on, I'm going to tell a story about how I personally made the mistake of choosing the wrong woman. Beneficial and destructive, the only two types. And I've chosen the destructive one, so I know from firsthand experience what that does. And I know a lot of men out there have chosen the destructive woman. But let's keep going.
Yes, I said it. You can sugarcoat it if you want, but that won't stop your life from burning down around you when you choose wrong. This is not about hate. This is not about war. This is about strategy. Because Machiavelli taught us, he who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived.
He mentioned something there. I know I'm stopping it a lot there, but I need to really touch on a lot of points. He mentioned it's about strategy. It's not about hate. It's about strategy. You see, here's the thing. When it comes to women and choosing men, they're very strategic. Very strategic. How much money does he make? Will he be able to give me this kind of house, afford me this kind of lifestyle? Women are very strategic in the men they choose. I'll choose him over him because he brings this value. Maybe he brings this genetic value. Maybe he can do this. He can put me in places to achieve this. Women are very, very strategic. Men are the foolish ones, however, that just go off of love. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't love your partner. That shouldn't be a part of the thing that you have in the relationship as to why you choose her. But I don't remember who said this quote. It might have been Coach Greg Adams, but I'm not sure. Women are in business. Men are in love. Women are in business and men are in love. Women analyze the relationship from in love involved, yes, but that actually comes later. That comes after the fact. After they've made, from their perspective, the best decision possible, then the love will come. Men, we put love first, logic later when it comes to this. And it's funny because in life, mainly men, we put logic first in most aspect of our lives, right? This is why we're able to make better decisions, because we lead with logic and then feelings later. But in this one aspect of life, we put emotions before logic, and that's when it comes to dealing with women. And in this one aspect of life, women actually do better than us because they put logic first before emotions. However, most men think that women put emotions first. You can tell by the way women monkey branch or the way they will leave a relationship to upgrade. You can tell that their decision, there's reason behind it. He makes more money, he's taller, he's more attractive, he can provide her a better life, or maybe she just perceives him as a better sexual prospect. Whatever, there's a very calculated reason that exists outside of emotions as to why a woman chooses a man. A lot of times, if you ask a man why'd he choose her, man, I just really love her, bro. She makes me feel. What value, if you were to ask him, does she provide to you? Can you write down a list of how she actually benefits your life? Can you quantify it? They would have a difficult time because their emotions have fooled them into believing that the woman that they've chosen provides more value than she does. But let's get right back to the video.
That someone has always been the weak man who refuses to think before he feels. So here's your first commandment. Never choose based on appearance alone. Never. She can be the most beautiful woman you've ever seen, but if her mind is empty, her values are rotten.
Most men choose off of appearance. Now, here's the thing. Men were visual creatures, so of course, looks get factored in. I'm not saying go for some ugly chick. But the thing is, the thing that sells men on the idea that they should commit to the woman is also often looks, which is completely flawed. Big butt, a BBL, and some big boobs? You think that is what's going to make, is that's going to make you have a good partner? That's the value you're looking for? That's what qualified her for your commitment? Bro, morals and virtues, that is what qualifies a woman for commitment. Stop letting your looks fool you into thinking that there's more there than there is. You guys get these useless women, but they're attractive, super, gorgeous, long hair, pretty face, nice body. I've been there. And then you get them and they have all these flaws, and you know that. Maybe even subconsciously you know that, or maybe, consciously you're aware of this, and you try to change them so that the sexual value you get from her will align with the actual, value you need in terms of a relationship, like her morals, her values. So you try to change her so you can hold on to the sexuality that she brings, but also make her into a wholesome woman worth committing to, and you can't. You gotta look for a woman with both. But if you had to choose between the two, if you had to choose between looks or morals and virtue, guys, when it comes to committing to a woman, sometimes you're going to have to go down in looks to gain the qualities necessary in order for her to be eligible to be your actual wife. Even girlfriend, you need to go down in looks sometimes. Now, ideally, you can find both, and there are beautiful women out there who have both. But sometimes you will have to make a compromise because there's more things important than sexuality. There really is.
And her loyalty is for sale to the next highest bidder. You are not looking at a queen. You are looking at a polished poison. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Are you hearing me? Few will ever dare to look beyond beauty. But the real man, the strategic man, he looks deeper. He sees the woman's patterns, her choices, her loyalties, her respect for discipline. He watches how she moves when no one is looking, family, herself. Because men who lose everything almost always ignored these small signals.
Facts.
You don't just stumble into a beneficial woman. You select her. You test
I'm going to play that part again.
signals. You don't just stumble into a beneficial woman. You select her. You test her. You observe her like a general studies the terrain before battle.
That's huge. That is really huge, and you guys got to really take that in. Do you think Elon Musk, when he's hiring for his company, do you think he just, mass hires a bunch of random applicants and then hopes that some of those applicants end up being high-quality employees, intelligent individuals? Or do you think that he is very selective and has a very intensive vetting process to intentionally select the best of the best? A lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll just date a girl. She's really attractive. They'll give her commitment, with that being the only qualifier, and then they'll hope that the woman is beneficial to their life. They'll hope she has good qualities and that the qualities will showcase themselves. That's not how it works. You vet first. You don't stumble into it. You're not just going to give a girl a relationship by chance and then she happens to be a great girlfriend and wife. You have to take a step back and vet for very specific traits in order to actually get that. It's very intentional. You select. You don't stumble upon it. And that's why I advocate for a lot of guys to be very, very... I want you guys to commit very rarely. Because like I said, there's only about 15%, from my perspective, women worth committing to. I need you guys to pull back when it comes to committing to women, okay? Because a lot of you guys just, and I've been there myself. Well, actually, I wasn't even that bad when it came to committing to women. Not really. I've definitely made mistakes, but I wasn't very quick to hand over commitment. But the reason why you don't want to hand over commitment, because most women are not worthy of it, and you need to really select for very specific traits and attributes, right? Stop just hoping for the best. She's hot, so you know what? I'll give her a relationship and then, we'll see what happens from there. That's not how it works, man. Oftentimes, you're going to stumble into that woman that's going to bring chaos into your life. Destructive, beneficial or destructive. There's only two. And when you're just so quick to hand over commitment, a lot of times you're going to fall into the destructive category with these chicks. So be selective.
Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Stop being the fool who waits until he's trapped. You don't get to complain later if you ignored the warnings now. And let me tell you the second commandment. Never select a woman who does not respect masculine authority. Period. If she sees your strength as a threat instead of a shelter, leave. If she competes with your leadership instead of complementing it, leave. If she
views boundaries as controlling instead of a safety parameter, leave. If she wants to compete with you when it comes to careers instead of playing her role as a nurturing wife and mother, leave. If she hinders your ability to lead the relationship in any way, leave. There's this whole thing that women came up with. I don't really know how they came up with it, but there's this idea that a man wants to be challenged. You'll often hear women say, well, don't you want a woman who challenges you? That's not her job to challenge you. That's not her job. I don't know why they come up with this idea. Her job is to support you, not challenge you, not get in your way. If she cannot respect masculine authority, if she pushes back anytime you try to set boundaries, parameters on the relationship, because a lot of these women weren't raised with fathers, so they never experienced a man saying no or saying, we're not doing this, we're doing this instead. They're raised with single mothers that let them run wild, do whatever they wanted. So when a man comes into their life and starts setting boundaries, this is foreign, where the woman is in charge and calls the shots. So when they come into contact with a man now and he's trying to lead, it's very difficult. Some of them try to change and evolve and become a woman who can, accept a man's lead, but most never really get there. This is why they hire femininity coaches to teach them how to be able to accept and meld with the masculine energy. Woman who's pushing back against your authority, she needs to submit. Submission is key. If she's pushing back, if she doesn't want to submit, you got to get out of there. Point blank, period. I'm telling you, do not get with a woman who doesn't submit, and do not attempt to try to get her to submit. It's not your job to assert your dominance over her and get her to finally submit. No, not at all. That falls into trying to change a woman, which always backfires. It always backfires. Nope, your job is to be a masculine man, assert your authority. She pushes back against it, you leave. A lot of women will want you to be there and argue back and forth with them and try to, complain and do this whole thing to try to get her to submit. Or some will even say that you need to assert your dominance. That goes into very toxic situations, having to assert your dominance to that degree. No. It should be as simple as you saying no. Or saying, hey, we're going to go do this. That's it. She can't respect your authority. There's no go. There's no shot. There's no hope for that relationship. It's done. It's over. Let it go.
challenges your vision but offers no wisdom, leave. Because a woman who cannot respect masculine order will turn your life into feminine chaos. This is how kings fall. This is how legacies die. You are not here to save her. You are not here to fix her. You are here to build, and build.
You're not here to fix her, and you're not here to save her. A lot of guys will get these projects, right? She has she has mental issues, daddy issues, trauma. And you'll take on these fixer-upper women, and you'll attempt to save them from their past, save them from their future. I can fix her, bro. She just needs the love. The love she never had. I can provide that and everything will be great. Once she sees that I'm the guy who can give her that love that she always craved, then she'll stop being toxic. Then she'll stop being problematic and everything will be great and we'll have an amazing future together. This is what's going on in a lot of guys' heads when they meet a chaotic woman. They try to become the solution to all her problems, but you don't realize that the problem is her. She creates problems because she thrives on the chaos. When peace comes into the relationship, it will absolutely destroy you. A woman with trauma will give you trauma. You cannot fix a woman. She must fix herself. She must come into the relationship capable of all the things you need her to do. And a person with emotional issues, daddy issues, trauma, trust issues, all this like low self-esteem, anxiety, all this stuff, how is she a capable partner? Do you want a second child that you're going to have to look after? Or do you want a capable partner by your side? Then stop getting these fixer-upper women. If she is not 100% capable of doing the job you need her to do, because remember, this is a strategic move. Getting a woman is not just a random move based on love. It's strategic because you have a purpose in life. You're going somewhere in life. You have your purpose and you're going in that direction and you need a woman who's going to assist you. And this is why when you're vetting her, you're looking for the traits necessary to assist you in your particular purpose. So you can't afford to get a woman who's just doesn't have the skill sets necessary or the mental capacity necessary to handle difficult tasks, or maybe she crumbles under pressure, or she's just emotionally unstable. How is this individual supposed to help you with your future? How? Stop getting projects, man. Stop getting fixer-upper women. She is either capable of what you need her to do when you meet her, or she's not. And that's it. Remember, there's only two types of women: beneficial or destructive.
Building requires alignment, not opposition. Machiavelli warned that men who fail to secure their power soon become slaves to the very forces they once tried to tame. You think you can handle her drama. You think you can manage her disrespect. You think love will fix it. No, it won't. Because she knows something you don't. You've already chosen her, and now she holds the power you handed over like a fool. And most men, in their desperation to be loved, hand over their power wrapped in velvet words like compromise, understanding, and partnership.
That is so true. When it comes to power, a man's power is his commitment. A woman's power is her sexuality. You see, women at least will require things a lot of the times in exchange for their sexuality, because at least to some degree they know it's valuable. Men, however, they exchange their power for sex. They exchange their power for sex. Most men, the only thing they require of the woman, they barely do any vetting as to her values, her morality, her virtue. They barely do any vetting. If she's willing to sleep with him regularly, for most men, that's grounds enough to offer her commitment. I've never heard before. Your commitment is more valuable than her sex. I don't know if you ever heard that before, but I'll say it again. Your commitment is more valuable than her sex. The thing you get from her sex literally could be accomplished just as easily with your hand. Am I advocating for this? No. I'll take it even a step further. Nowadays, sex, female sexuality, it's easy to come by. Maybe back in the day, sexuality was valuable because women, required a lot in order for a man to get sexual access. You had to commit to her. You had to be a man of a certain status and offer certain value. Now, a woman will bust it open for a guy she met at a club the first night. Getting sexual access is easy. Easy. Learn game, dress well, hit the gym, smell good. Learn game, hit the gym, dress well, smell good. You can have sex for the rest of your life. Sex has become, quite frankly, unvaluable. But commitment. What comes with commitment? When a man commits to a woman, and this is the exchange most men don't realize they're making. This is why they often exchange their value for women who are truly unworthy of it. When a man commits bodyguard, all of a sudden your life becomes less valuable than hers. Not actually, but how the dynamic plays out. You're expected to put your life on the line. Go in front of dangerous situations to protect her. All of a sudden, when you come into her life, when you commit to her, her life automatically becomes cheaper, more affordable. I've heard it said many times that women save money in a relationship and men lose money. You know why? Because you stepped into her life. Those moments when she's indecisive and can't make a decision, and life has a lot of turmoil, and she just emotionally erratic. Simply by you being there as a rock, being able to make logical decisions in difficult situations, and being there for her to take that load off of her mind offers her so much peace. Men do not realize just how valuable their commitment is, and if they did, they would stop committing so easily. They would require a lot in exchange, but most don't. Most do not. They just give it away. The kinds of women I see men commit to, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. You'll even see very valuable, let me not use the word valuable, I'll use the word successful men commit to women that it makes you question if they're actually as intelligent as they are in order to get that money. Like, how did you get this far in life, become this successful, but be this stupid when it comes to choosing women? Because they don't value their commitment. Men have been programmed to view sex as more valuable than their commitment. In many cases, when they get into a relationship with a woman and they do commit to the girl, the commitment from their perspective isn't enough. The fact that they even gave the girl commitment isn't enough to qualify for an equal dynamic. They still have to pedestalize the woman and do this happy wife, happy life dance in order to continuously provide value in order for the woman to feel as though this is a fair deal for her. When in reality, it's the opposite. She should be doing, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Noble words, beautiful lies. Machiavelli was ruthless in exposing this fantasy. It is much safer to be feared than loved if you have to choose between the two. You hear that? If you must choose. Because in the real world, love without respect is slavery with a smile. And the man who lets a woman rule him in the name of peace is no different from the puppet king wearing a crown.
Respect or love? Respect or love? I actually made a video on this channel about that exact topic. Men, it is much better to be respected than love. If you have to choose between love and respect, respect wins every day. See, because women are emotional, men think that I must have her love. No, bro, love is fleeting. Love goes in and out, especially when it comes to women. When it comes to us, our love is far more stable. It's far more, firm. It doesn't change or fluctuate as much when it comes to us and our love for them. But when it comes to a woman's love and a man, with the way she loves him, comes and goes. One day it's here, one day it's high, one day it's low, one day it's non-existent, and then it'll come back like a raging storm and she's all in love with you again. If you base her love for you and you think that's a valuable relationship, no. You know how many times I've seen videos of women who've cheated on their partner, and she's bawling her eyes out, claiming how much she loved him. How much she loved him. I love you so much. You don't understand. I made a mistake. I love you, not him. All these different scenarios. You'll see it. Countless videos. If you ever watch these compilation video channels, you'll see plenty of them. If she respected him. If she respected him, could she have done what she did? The answer is no. She did it in the end, but she loved him. And you know, to a degree, I believe that. Because love doesn't keep a woman from cheating. It really doesn't. I've heard women say, right, after they cheated on their partner and the man is confronting her about it, it's like, I thought you loved me. And the woman will look him dead in the eye and say, I know, but I love both of you. I love both of you. But you want to rely on love? I'm telling you guys, respect. Respect, respect, respect. Your woman must respect you. Love will follow. Once she can respect you, that means she's looking up to you. That means she can admire you. And love typically follows under those prerequisites. Love will follow under that. But if you lead with love and hope respect will come, that's not a guarantee. Respect trumps love every time.
If you want to know who she really is, observe her reaction to your boundaries. Tell her no. Watch how she responds. Cut off her access to your time, your money, your attention. Listen to the silence that follows. Will she respect your distance? Or will she manipulate you back with tears, guilt, and empty promises? You see, most women today have been trained by a weak society to believe that men exist to serve their endless emotional appetites.
Tell her no. Observe her reactions when you set boundaries. Tell her no. Most modern women have been programmed to shame you. You'll often hear when a man sets boundaries, women will say, you're controlling. That's toxic. That's manipulative. All of these are just shaming language to get you, allow them to have, free reign of the relationship and essentially get away with anything. Most men are afraid to say no because they're afraid that their women will leave them for a man who says yes. Not knowing that discovering that is the key. If she's going to leave for a man who says yes, then that's exactly what she needs to do. That's exactly what she needs to do. It's part of the vetting process. If that is something that's going to be problematic for her when you set boundaries and limitations, then you need to get rid. That is why you're doing the vetting. You guys are too interested in trying to find ways to make the girl qualify for a relationship instead of finding ways that make her disqualified for the relationship. Vet her to disqualify her. You guys are vetting her to qualify her. You're looking for reasons to keep her instead of reasons to get rid of her. And you're making excuses in your head because she's really pretty and I really love her and the sex is great. So I wanna find all these reasons to overlook the red flags. Get rid of her. If you set a boundary, I don't date girls who dress like that. I don't date girls who post that kind of content on the internet. I don't date girls who hang out with guy friends. I don't date girls who go on girls trips. I don't do this. I don't do that. Set your boundaries. You don't force them. You don't ever try to force them. You just let it be known. And if she pushes back against it, there you go. Your vetting was successful. You identified that she was not beneficial. She was destructive. And then you move on to the next applicant. That's how it goes, guys. It is a very rigorous thing. You're going to go through a lot of women trying to find a high-value woman. You're going to go through a lot of beautiful women trying to find a high value woman. And you're going to have to be willing to let them go. Despite how gorgeous she is, she might have the perfect body, your ideal type, her voice with the perfect accent that's just, oh my God, you love hearing it. Body just looking on point, the long hair you always wanted. But she's destructive. When you told her your boundaries, she said you were insecure. You're going to have to get rid of that one, man. You're going to have to get comfortable with getting rid of women. You are. Hold on for a second, guys. I'm going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. But if you are enjoying the live stream, please go ahead and like the video. And if you're getting value from this, subscribe to the channel. Just hang tight real quick, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Sorry for the little delay, but we are back. All right, let's get back into the video.
And most men, desperate to keep the peace, serve on their knees. But you are not most men, not after this. Your third commandment is this: watch how she handles boredom. Because every woman is on her best behavior when she's entertained, when she's receiving gifts, when the attention is endless. But boredom is where true character is revealed. Does she create value in silence, or does she seek chaos to feel alive?
Watch how she handles boredom. It's part of the vetting process. Why some women just start arguments out of nowhere. Everything's peaceful. So we're having a great day. Nothing's going wrong. And then it just seems like she just instigates a fight for like no reason. And you're just like caught off guard. Like, where's this coming from? Why is this happening right now? Nothing is going wrong in the relationship. Why are you starting drama over the tiniest of things? Boredom. You ever wonder why women have affairs in otherwise like perfect relationships, healthy relationships, but they'll just have an affair? It's not toxic, it's not abusive. The guy's doing everything he needs to do. He treats her well, but she's having an affair. You ever wonder why? Boredom. You ever wonder why a woman will divorce a great guy? Boredom. You see, modern women nowadays have been trained that they need to be constantly entertained because most men come into the relationship like a dancing monkey, taking on the role of trying to constantly keep her in the relationship and keep her from leaving them. So they play this role of the dancing monkey, always and just trying to entertain her, provide her value, just make her happy. The happy wife, happy life. Listen, man, in these moments, when there is calm, when there is peace, you need to vet for a woman who tries to keep that dynamic, to keep that environment, to sustain it, to enhance it. When a woman is bored, this is when they get up to bad behavior, foolish things. When the relationship, has reached that phase where it becomes routine, this is where relationships tend to break down and women start cheating, or they start causing problems, or they want to leave the relationship altogether to go seek out excitement. This is why you don't date prior women who were thrill seekers, jumping from man to man, rich guy to rich guy, yacht to yacht, seeking her next adrenaline rush. You don't get these women because their adrenaline, their dopamine levels is like way out of whack. They need to be up here at all times to feel fulfilled. They don't know what peace is because they always are existing in this emotional spike. Get a woman who could sustain peace. And a lot of times they call it boredom because these women are just way overstimulated. But it's not boredom. It's really peace. But the modern woman has been programmed to see peace as boredom. You hear it all the time in these TikTok videos. He was a great guy. He was loyal. He was this. He was that. All of these amazing traits and attributes, but he was boring. He was boring from their perspective. And then if I remember correctly, I did a reel about this on TikTok. I don't know if you call it reels. I barely use TikTok, but I posted on TikTok and I was reacting to a girl who was talking about how she needed to retrain herself to view the traits and attributes of a good guy as not boring, but valuable. They have to retrain themselves. It's crazy. Okay, we got a message from, sorry, my eyesight is not the best right now, but I appreciate you for chiming in. I think it's Tommyist, if I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but he says that the women you're mentioning are like pouring water into a bucket with holes. It never ends. That bucket that has no bottom, excuse me. I got to get my chat like right in front of my face so I can see it. But I appreciate you for chiming in. And you're right. It's endless. Endless. You'll never be enough to fulfill them. This is why a lot of guys have that after they, end the relationship or the divorce happens, they look back on it and they're like, man, it just felt like I was never enough. Like nothing I do was ever good enough to make her happy, to like satisfy her. I was always chasing this goal that was just eluding me. I could never reach that point where it's like, yes, I've made her happy and we're stable here. It's never enough. She has to be comfortable with, I'm not even going to call it boredom because boredom's the wrong word. She has to be comfortable with peace. And a lot of modern women are not. But let's keep going with the video.
Does she sit with patience, or does she ignite petty arguments just to feel important again? Because the woman who cannot master her emotions in boredom will destroy your life when real trials begin. You want a woman who brings peace, not a ticking time bomb that explodes every time reality gets quiet. And then there's the lie you've heard all your life, that a high body count doesn't matter, that her past is none of your business, that you're insecure if you care. Machiavelli would laugh in your face. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Men today have been fooled into believing that a woman's history has no impact on her loyalty.
Oh yeah, the age-old conversation. Does body count matter? Of course it matters. Men know instinctually that it matters. They do. They know instinctually that it matters, and yet they allow women and society to suppress that biological understanding and get them to accept dynamics that they're just wild to me. Of course, body count matters. Women want you to believe that their sexuality is valuable. Most of them want you to believe that their sexuality is valuable. But then you have to ask yourself, well, what is value? Well, value, or something that is valuable, is usually tied to something that is scarce, that is rare. The more rare, hard to come by something is, the more valuable it becomes. So if a woman has slept with 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 40, 50 men, and those numbers are not unrealistic in this time, in this day and age. Those are very realistic numbers I just mentioned. I've personally come into encountered women with these kind of numbers. If she slept with that many men, how is that rare? How is that valuable? If that many men have had access to her, how is that rare? Things that are valuable are usually expensive, very expensive, which means are easily attainable. Something to think about. So if that many men had access to you, it couldn't be that exclusive, couldn't be that rare, thus it couldn't be that valuable. And then it gets into the whole thing of not just quantity, how many she slept with, but quality. What kind of men was she sleeping with? Nowadays women, they'll sleep with drug dealers, scammers, hood niggas, just rappers, just degenerate men. Degenerate men. And I don't want to be in that lineup of dudes. You have this backlog of just track record of dating just low quality individuals. Like that guy, the dude sagging his pants with no future. That guy was like, he was worthy of access to this valuable thing. What was he bringing that was so worthy of access? So you'll have this hood nigga, this scammer. Also, a lot of the times, these girls will give access to men who don't even commit to them. They will know for a fact that the man has multiple women and they'll still give him sexual access. And then they'll meet a guy like myself, or maybe a guy like you, who has morals, integrity, standards, values, principles. And then you have to think to yourself, well, wait a minute. If that hood nigga, that scammer, that low life, he qualified for your sex spectrum. So it wasn't morals or any kind of values that you used to determine whether or not we were worthy of your sexual access. The only metric that you had to be using to determine who was worthy and who was not was arousal. Who turned you on? Who made your pussy wet? And you know what? There's a lot of guys who qualify for that because there's a lot of men out there who are attractive. So if arousal is the only metric that will determine who gets access, then a lot of guys qualify. And that's probably why she has a high body count, because it's very easy to meet her metrics. Body count matters, guys. The things you're looking for in a woman: values, virtue, morality. When a woman has a high body count, that tells you very clearly where her value lies. Now, women will rage against this. They'll call it misogynistic. But it's not. It's very realistic, and it's a very crucial indicator that you need to use in identifying if you're dealing with a woman who's beneficial or a woman who's destructive. And oftentimes they'll like to pull the wool over your eyes and make you believe that, no, actually, people change. People change. You can't hold me to that standard. That was back then when I was smashing 25 guys. I'm a new person now with different morals and values. How do you know that? It's the riskiest thing to take a chance on a woman with a high body count. It is the riskiest thing because it's truly a gamble. It is the biggest gamble because she might be telling you in that moment that, I'm a different person now. The only thing that will prove that is the future. Like, because you have no past references to make a safe assessment as to whether or not that's true. So you're gambling your future on whether or not this person has actually changed. And we know it is a very difficult thing for people to change, especially someone who is addicted to sexuality, addicted to promiscuity. That is not something you just turn off overnight. That is a habit you have to like deprogram out of yourself. Guys, that gamble of I'm changed now is not worth your future. You need to get a woman who has a track record of valuing her sexuality. Let's keep going with the video.
But history is the only predictor you have. A woman who has betrayed others before you is not starting fresh with you. She's sharpening her knife while you look the other way. Watch her past, because it's screaming your future. The fourth commandment: never invest in a woman whose values you do not share. You're a man with a vision, or at least you should be. And a man with a vision does not marry lust. He aligns with mission, your mission. If she mocks your discipline, if she rolls her eyes at your ambition, if she cares more about social media than your legacy, leave. I don't...
Man, he said so much right there that was just so valuable. If she cares more about social media than your legacy. That's a funny thing to say. I mean, it's so wise, but it's funny to me because on Fresh and Fit and also whatever podcast and of these other podcasts, I've heard the question be asked to women: would you give up your Instagram for the perfect man who met all your requirements? And I am not the only one. I know you guys have seen these clips and watched women say no. A lot of women out there, surprisingly, value their social media more than their man. And if the man gave them an ultimatum and said, hey, listen, it's either me or the Instagram, there's a lot of men out there who would be single because the women would choose the Instagram. And this is why you don't date women who are having a social media addiction. Because no matter how much attention, time, effort, energy, love, dates you give her, the way the female brain works is that the numbers on Instagram, the likes she gets on that picture she posts, for the social media addicted woman, that is going to weigh more and be more valuable to her than everything you could possibly give her. Today, you look so beautiful. She'd be like, oh yeah, thanks. No big deal. Brush it off, just like didn't do much for her, that comment. But if the random dude on social media said something like that, damn, you're so fine. Hard eyes. Oh, that made her day. That made her day. That is the mind of the social media addicted woman. She constantly needs this influx of attention that she can access at any time. Because she won't be able to access you at any time to get your validation or admiration. But she could always whip out her phone, and there it is. Anytime. Every time. If she wants more, post a picture. If she wants more, post a video of her showing her ass. It's always available. The social media addictive woman will absolutely destroy your life, and she will value the relationship with her phone more than her relationship with you. And they say it out of their own mouth. Would you give up your Instagram for the perfect man? No. I'm sorry, no. A cell phone. Numbers, people that don't know her, that they would never meet. And if they did meet, they probably just want sex and that's all. But that is more valuable than your commitment. Be careful. Watch your social media usage. When you're vetting for a high value woman, you need to look at how often she uses social media, what she does on social media, the platforms, all of that. All this is very important. Because if you get a woman with this kind of mindset, you will run into problems.
I don't care how good she looks in a dress. I don't care how sweet she sounds when she wants something. Because here's the truth you refuse to swallow. The wrong woman will cost you your destiny.
The wrong woman will cost you your destiny. No amount of pleasure is worth the graveyard of your potential. Man, I remember in my last relationship, prior to me like taking a huge break, it was the relationship that taught me so much. But in that relationship, that almost destroyed me and almost destroyed my future. Now let me get into that, because we're talking about the cost of your destiny. The cost of your destiny. Now, in my personal life, I have a very peaceful, happy home. Like I've been blessed to have a very amazing family. And when I come home, there's no chaos. There's never been any drama. There's no arguing. There's no nothing. It's a very just really wholesome household. Like I come from one of those households where it's like we eat dinner together every night and we pray together, that type of thing. It's very rare nowadays, but I've been blessed to come from that. So my life has been very peaceful, zero chaos, and I mean zero chaos. And that is a blessing. Now I met this girl. And we started dating. Now this girl comes from the complete opposite of my family. Her parents argue constantly. I can't tell you how many times she called me up on the phone because she's scared, because her parents are like just going at it. I heard them screaming at each other, cursing at each other, throwing things at each other. They'd be going at it for hours. And I'd be hearing all of it. When she's in the car with them, I'd be hearing them going at it. And she would also go at it with her parents. Completely different household. I mean, the things they would say to one another, insane. Nobody had respect for anybody. Now, this woman took that chaos and brought it into my peaceful life. Now, the topic that we're bringing up is no amount of pleasure is worth the graveyard of your potential. Now, at the time, and even now, my passion is writing. I love to write, and I lived, breathed, ate, drank. Writing was my thing. I could not wait to come home to put pen to paper so I could just offload everything in my head and just write it down. The whole day at work, I'd just be coming up with dialogue and that was my life. I loved it. Now, when this girl came into my life, my whole passion, my purpose, my direction in life just completely still there, but I couldn't do it because I was constantly angry, because the same dynamic that she watched her parents have, she was now having with me. Constant arguments, constant back and forths. The trauma and troubles that her parents would be having with her, she would call me up to vent, constantly venting about this going on, that going on. And anytime I'd be like, that's enough, I can't hear this anymore, I'm the bad guy because I don't want to hear her out or hear her problems. I don't care about her. I don't love her. I'm the bad guy now. So now she can direct all her anger towards me. My peace just evaporated. When I came home to try to put pen to paper and write, I couldn't because my mind was just angry and agitated and just on edge, waiting for the next text message or call that would just disturb my day and my peace. For over a year, I did not write a single thing. My unfinished novel just haunted me. I would see it on the shelf and it haunted me because I wanted to take up that book and write, but I couldn't. When I finally built up the courage to leave that relationship, I realized just how much she cost me. I had planned to finish my novel by the end of the year. I had planned to have 2 novels. With the rate that I was going with my writing, I felt as though I could finish at least a novel and a half. get it revised and, the whole process when it comes to writing, because there's a whole thing that has to go on the back end of getting people to look at it and stuff like that. But I planned to have that done within a year, and I didn't even finish one. Completely thrown off track. But she was a gorgeous girl. Great body, long hair, pretty face. I mean, if you saw me walking with her, she was definitely a head turner. Definitely a head turner. But man, I was miserable. I was miserable, and I was completely thrown off my past, thrown off my destiny. And I say all that to say that you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful with the woman you bring into your life, because your whole game plan for your life and the trajectory of your future could literally be thrown off course because of a woman. And a lot of times it's not until she leaves your life, when you finally build up the courage to get rid of her because you can't handle the toxicity anymore, that you realize, like, oh my gosh, I lost so much. And one of the major things that men lose in this situation is time. Because time is very valuable, and especially the time where you're supposed to be building yourself and becoming successful. Women will rob you of that having a woman in your life is more valuable than not. Guys, you must be quick to remove any women who disrupt or try to deviate you from your purpose. If you feel yourself slipping, if you're in school and you're in college or whatever kind of school you're in, a trade, and a woman comes into your life and all of a sudden she's messing with your grades and she's messing with your future. Maybe you're trying to build a YouTube channel. Maybe you're trying to build a side hustle business and she's constantly nagging you for your time. Or she's bringing chaos into your life that's going to deviate, that's going to throw you off because now you're upset and you can't focus in the same way. Get rid of her. Because just like it said in the video, no amount of pleasure is worth the graveyard of your potential. That statement is truly profound, and I really hope you guys take that to heart.
And finally, he does not fear losing you. She will never truly value you. That's the coldest law of all. The woman who believes you'll always be there, no matter what, no matter how far she disrespects you, no matter how much she stops adding value, that woman will slowly grow to despise you. Why? Because what costs nothing is worth nothing, and Machiavelli knew this better than anyone. Men should be either caressed or crushed, and women by their nature will do the same to you. If she cannot lose you, she will crush you. If she fears losing you, she will rise to meet you.
In most relationships, that's actually backwards, where the man fears to lose the woman. That's how most relationships are structured, unfortunately. It's the whole happy wife, happy knife dynamic. The man puts the woman on a pedestal and he is doing everything in his power to keep her. This is why it ultimately ends. Because if the woman isn't chasing you, if she isn't afraid to lose you, then she will leave. She always wants to be with a man that she can look up to, a man that she feels like, I got the best thing. If you feel as though you have the most valuable thing, naturally in your head, you're going to be afraid to lose it. If she feels as though, you're just another guy, she's not going to feel like she's not going to be afraid to lose you. Guys, I'm telling you, boundaries and expectations will save your relationship. And I'll tell you why. A man who sets boundaries and expectations, it signals to a woman that he's a man of value. Because basically what you're telling her is, I have standards, I have boundaries. If you do not adhere to these expectations, I will leave. She must always know that if she does not comply, you will leave. That's the main thing. You will leave. She must know that. If she disrespects you, you will leave. If she crosses your boundaries, you will leave. Fear of loss is what makes a woman value the man. the way to indicate that you're valuable, one way to indicate that you're valuable is being willing to set standards and walk away from those who don't meet them. But a lot of guys do the opposite. They do away with all the boundaries, all the standards, all the expectations in hopes that if the woman doesn't have to adhere to anything, that'll make her feel free and happy and want to stay. If I don't have expectations, she won't feel pressured and that'll make her want to stay. If I don't have expectations, she won't feel pressured and that'll make her want to stay. No, it's actually the very opposite. Now she knows that there's no standard. You've made her believe that no matter what she does, no matter how she acts, no matter if she cheats, no matter if she disrespects you, no matter if she just emasculates you, you've made her believe that no matter what, you're going to be there. And that is the most unattractive thing a man can do. You have, if your boundaries are crossed and your expectations are not met. And that is a very good way for her to value you. Believe it or not, having expectations and having boundaries will save your relationship.
Men who are feared are not cruel. They are respected, because their absence means something. So stop being so available. Stop rewarding bad behavior with more attention. Stop begging for scraps when you should be commanding loyalty. The man who is willing to walk away owns the power. Always has. Always will.
Yep.
It's easy to preach these truths. It's much harder to live them. Because to live them, you must first kill the fool inside you. The romantic fool, the desperate fool, the boy who still believes love alone can conquer a woman's nature. You've been trained to think that your sincerity will save you, that your loyalty will change her, that your devotion will make her stay.
You think if you're a nice enough guy, if you simp hard enough, that someday, after constantly trying to meet this metric of the perfect guy for her, that one day she'll turn around and value you if you simp hard enough. If you happy wife, happy life hard enough and put her needs before yours in every capacity and just cater to her, that someday she'll come around to seeing your value and how great of a man you are. I'm here to tell you that that's not going to happen. The more you lean in to doing away with your morals, doing away with your boundaries and standards and expectations, the more she will see less of a reason to adhere to anything. Why value something that's gonna be there anyway? Why would you value it? It's guaranteed. You've become a guarantee. Never become a guarantee in a woman's life. Would you? I need a good example of this. Because I need to drive the point home. Look, if you were, let's say, when you were in school, right? Getting provided lunch was a guarantee. Think of anything in your life that's a guarantee. Why would you value it? There's no reason for me to cater to this thing, to do extra for this thing. Like, anything in life that's guaranteed to always be there no matter what is going to be something taken for granted. It's a guarantee. Why should I value it? It's owed to me. It becomes, the mindset flip becomes owed to you at that point. This is why you'll notice that a lot of times when the guy will, and then he pulls back for whatever reason, and he stops giving the woman the attention or something, whatever it is he's been giving her, the woman will be enraged if he stops simping, stops giving her that time and attention, because for the longest time she'd had to do nothing to earn it. It's been a guarantee. So how dare you take away something that's owed to me? Because the dynamic has been that way for so long. You put no requirements to get your respect. You put no requirements to get your love. You put no requirements to get your time and attention. You just gave it to her. So how dare you pull back? They will rage at the man for pulling back on any of those things. But you can only be mad at yourself because you set that standard. Never make yourself a guarantee in a woman's life. She must always know that if she crosses a boundary, if she disrespects you, if she steps outside of the line that you've crossed and the relationship boundaries that you've set, she needs to know without a shadow of a doubt that I will lose this man. And that understanding will keep her in line. It will keep her in line.
It won't. This is why so many men are broken today, not by women, but by their own illusions about women. Machiavelli was merciless with men who refused to face reality. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. And make no mistake, fear holds more power than love. Always has, always will. The woman you can't walk away from is the woman who owns you, and she knows it. Watch how differently a woman treats the man she knows she could lose. Her tone softens, her loyalty sharpens, her chaos shrinks. But the man who makes himself endlessly available, he gets the opposite. She grows colder, she grows bolder, she tests him, not because she's evil, but because female nature does not trust what it does not respect. And a man who refuses to protect his value is not a man worth following.
I keep telling you guys, boundaries and expectations will save your relationship. She needs to know that you respect yourself. You respect yourself by having boundaries and standards. You have limitations. You have things you won't tolerate. That is an indication that you respect yourself. Then after that, now she can respect you.
Let me make it clearer than ever before. The most dangerous woman in a man's life is the one who sees him as an emotional provider, but not as a leader. You think she loves you because she vents to you, because she cries on your shoulder, because she tells you her fears. But pay attention. Does she follow your guidance? Does she submit to your leadership? Does she rise when you raise the standard? If not, you are not her king. You are her emotional trash can. And she will use you until she finds a man she actually respects. You think that's harsh? Good. Let it burn. Because that pain you're feeling right now is what will wake you up. You see, most men try to negotiate respect. They try to earn it by doing more, by bending further, by shrinking themselves.
Being the nice guy. Being the happy wife, happy life guy. If I do that hard enough, then maybe she'll respect me. Maybe I just need to, do everything in my power to become her dream man. She'll keep throwing out things that you're not doing well enough. This is why they're never satisfied. Yes, ma'am, trying to everything, walking on eggshells with this woman to keep her happy. And you think she's going to respect you after that? No, bro. That's not it. Trying to keep her happy is not what's going to make her respect you. A lot of guys need to learn that. And unfortunately, some need to learn the hard way.
Fools. Machiavelli warned us. One who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. And you have deceived yourself long enough. Respect is never negotiated. It is commanded. And if you have to beg for it, you've already lost it. So how do you command it? By living as though you are willing to lose her at any moment. Because the man who fears loss becomes her servant. But the man who embraces loss becomes her obsession.
Exactly. And this is why women this is why women chase after the men who don't care to have them. The guy who's trying to lock her down in a relationship and who'll do anything to get her, that's the man she ignores. Those are the text messages she leaves on read. But then the guy who doesn't care, who isn't trying to lock her down, who could take it or leave it, that's the guy she's constantly pining after. You need to be willing to lose her at any time. And I know that's difficult to hear or difficult to be willing to lose her. You have to be. It's a necessity. It's a necessity because when you don't care, there's a balance to it. It's not like you don't care about her, like you don't love her. But you always have to know in the back of your head that I could walk away. I could walk away from this. It might hurt, but I could do it. If you ever get to a point where you feel as though, man, I could never leave this, you're trapped. She holds all the leverage at that point. You must always have a certain level of distance to where you can separate yourself from the relationship. You can't need it that much. And if men have been told to go all in when it comes to love, and they just attach their heart and soul to the relationship. And that's why it crushes so many men, because they make it their entire lives. It's like, no, you never make a relationship your entire life. You love her, you take care of her, you treasure her, yes, if she's a good woman. But you must always know that if circumstances change, I can and will walk away. Pain be damned. Emotions be damned. The principle is, I will walk away if I must. And you must always have that. I don't care if you've been together for 15, 20 years. That principle still remains.
She will test you. She will push you. She will try to see if you are all bark and no bite. You must bite. You must walk. You must
bite.
disappear. Not to punish her, but to remind her that you are a man who values himself more than he fears her absence.
Exactly.
Let me give this, not just her male friends. Watch how she speaks about men in general.
Yep.
Does she admire masculine strength?
Or is she always demonizing masculinity, taking shots at men's masculinity, snide remarks that undermine a man, the other one that I've noticed a lot is very emasculating remarks. And women will do these emasculating remarks in very subtle ways, right? Or they'll say, you'll one thing I've noticed when I would go out on dates with girls is that they would notice like interactions with other couples, and she would always view like if something was going on, like the man from the negative standpoint, and very like angry or just disrespectful comments as to what's going on or what he should do or what he's not doing. It's very important. A lot of women are like undercover feminists, and they have a disdain for men. They're attracted to men. They still like men, but there is like a subtle undercover disdain for men. And they'll come out, but they'll mask it in humor. It won't be just like an outright dark remark. It'll be like something that's said to be funny, but it's not funny. And that same characteristic will be used when she's throwing subtle shots at your masculinity or making you feel inadequate or small. Be very cautious and pay very close attention to how she speaks about men.
Does she mock it? Does she speak highly of her father, her brothers, her mentors? Or does she carry bitterness, resentment, and sarcasm toward men who have led before you? Because here's the truth. A woman who secretly despises men will never fully submit to you.
Mm-hmm.
She may act sweet in the beginning, but her bitterness will surface.
Yep.
It always does. And when it does, you'll realize you married a competitor, not a companion.
Mm-hmm.
Machiavelli wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." Her words mean nothing if her patterns don't align. Do not marry potential. Do not invest in promises.
Oh my gosh. That is, wow, profound. Her words mean nothing if her actions don't align. Literally, that is like the foundation of Red Pill. Look at what she does, not what she says. The main thing that has men confused when it comes to women is because they're listening to her words. All these promises. You let a woman tell you verbally who she is, you're lost. You'll get a complete lie. You watch and observe who she is. Bro, in all these sitcoms, you'll notice that, like when they have these sitcoms with these families, you'll notice that the guy, the father or the son, if they have a girlfriend or if they have the wife, they'll always be like perplexed and confused as to the nature of the woman and why the things she say and does are like contradicting. That's because you'll notice that the father, the dad, is listening to what the woman says. And then the next thing she says contradicts the first thing that she says. That's why this whole idea that women are confusing and hard to read And that you always see it in the sitcoms, like, oh my gosh, it's just so confusing. You can never understand women. That's complete nonsense. It's because men were not taught what to look for. The truth is, you look for her actions. You don't let a woman come into your life telling you who she is. I'm this type of woman. I'm actually loyal. I'm actually very loyal. I'm not that type of girl. I'm not promiscuous. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. They can tell you a whole, like, a whole freaking resume that sounds amazing. But when you look at her life and the way she moves, oh, I'm not that type of girl. But when I look at your Instagram, you seem like that type of girl. Oh, I'm not that type of girl. But you go to the club every Friday or Saturday. Your actions seem like you are that type of girl. I'm not that type of girl. I'm a good girl. I'm wholesome. I'm worth taking serious. But every outfit you choose, you're half naked. Your butt's hanging out. I can see your nipples through your shirt. You're saying one thing, but your actions don't align. That is what you look for. You look at her actions. Assess her life. Never let a woman's words tell you who she is. The words are nothing. The words are nothing. Always look at her actions. You will see through so much BS if you just cover your ears. Actually, listen to what she says, because it is important to listen to what she says. That way you can determine whether or not her lifestyle is in alignment. So yes, listen to what she says. Take note of the kind of woman she says she is, and then cover your ears and observe. Observe how she dresses. Observe the company she keeps. Observe the locations that she frequents. Observe the way she speaks about men, about people. Observe the way she interacts when it comes to relationships. How does she respect you? What values does she bring? Women will swear up and down that they're valuable. But when you date them, you're like, well, where's all this value? Was it just the sex? Was that what you were talking about? I'm so valuable. A man would be lucky to have me. And then you get them and you're like, is this it? Observe the actions.
Invest in patterns. If her life before you was chaos, it will not magically become peace with you. If her habits were lazy before you, they will not suddenly become disciplined beside you. You are not the exception. You are the next fool if you ignore what's right in front of you. Let me tell you why most men ignore all of this. Because deep down, you want to believe you're the one who can change her. You think your love is special? You think your patience will finally crack the code? You think if you stay long enough, she'll wake up one day and realize you're the prize? She won't. You're not her father. You're not her therapist. You're not her God. You are a man, and a man's time is his life. Every minute you waste trying to reform a woman who refuses to change is a minute you rob from your future self. Machiavelli said it best: the wise man does at once what the fool does finally. And every second you delay cutting ties with the wrong woman, you are living as the fool. Here's something you won't hear in any motivational video. No woman on earth is your purpose, not one. Your purpose is your mission, your discipline, your kingdom. A woman is either an asset to that purpose, or she is a liability. And most men flip this equation upside down. They make the woman the purpose, the center, the reason they wake up in the morning. And when she senses this, she loses all respect for him. Why? Because women do not trust men who orbit them. One man will worship another. The difference isn't the woman, the difference is the man's friend.
Yup. You must always put your purpose first. Always put your purpose first. You think that putting her first will somehow get her to stay. I'm telling you that is false. Your purpose is paramount. The man who sets aside his purpose for the woman will lose her 10 times out of 10. The man who focuses on his purpose will keep the woman, because if she feels as though women act like they want to be, but they don't. Because remember, they don't want a man who is solely just like, they don't want a man who makes her their entire life, because then she knows she has him. If she's your everything, then who's really in charge? She's the more valuable one if she's your everything, because you're not her everything. You have to put your purpose first. Your purpose will keep you driven. Your purpose will keep you sharp. It'll keep you with motivated. It'll give you a reason. Once you remove that and you make that the woman, you make your reason for living the woman. That is one of the most dangerous things you can do, because a woman can leave at any time. At any time. And this is why a lot of guys' worlds come crashing down around them, because they made the woman their entire life. And once she leaves the situation and they're left looking at like their life, the shambles of the relationship, wondering like, what happened? Everything I had is just gone. But if a woman leaves your life, but you still have your purpose, your life doesn't come crashing down around you, because you built your life on your purpose. Come and go, bro. Women come and go. Even when it comes to marriages, unfortunately, those don't even stand the test of time nowadays. Women come and go. You cannot build your life on a woman. You must build it on something stable, something that is uniquely your own, that no matter who comes and goes in and out of your life, this foundation will never shake, because they don't take it with them. And if that...
So here's your next brutal lesson. Never choose a woman who cannot thrive in your absence. You want to know who she really is? Step back. Watch how she lives without you. Does she collapse into chaos? Or does she rise in discipline? The woman who requires constant attention, constant validation, constant babysitting, she will be your death. But the woman who multiplies in when you're not watching, that is a woman worth keeping. Machiavelli warned that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. And in relationships, this means one thing: you must be willing to make her uncomfortable in the name of your standards. If she crosses a boundary, you call it out immediately. If she disrespects your time, you withdraw it. If she tests your strength, you show her the door. Not because you are cruel, but because you are a man who protects the empire you are building.
The only way standards have any kind of, meaning is if you're willing to enforce them. Standards are not a threat. Standards are not used as a threat or a bluff. Standards are something you have to stand on. So if you tell a woman, if you do X, Y, Z, if you cross said boundary, I'm leaving. If you don't enact on what you said you will do, you screwed up, because now she knows that your boundaries are just empty threats. Now she knows that your boundaries hold no weight. That you saying, hey, don't do that or else, you just already showed her that you have no teeth. And it's not to be cruel, but you must let her know that this is meaning this. I'm not joking around here. I mean what I say. It would be better off if you left than if you it'd be better off if you left the relationship than if you stayed in a relationship where you made the girl realize that you do not stand on your boundaries. At that point, just leave. Because how she's going to treat you after she realizes that your boundaries are just empty bluffs, holy. You've never experienced disrespect from a woman until you've experienced a woman who doesn't respect your boundaries, who knows that your words are empty, they carry no weight. It's better off to just leave. If you're a guy who can't enforce his boundaries, who feels as though he'll be so enamored and so in love that he could just never, stand on his boundaries and leave the woman. I just can't leave her, bro. She cheated on me, but I can't leave her. She did what I told her not to do for the 5th time, but I just can't leave her. If you're that type of guy, if you take a self-assessment and you've come to the realization that you're a guy who cannot stand on his principles, don't get into a relationship. And I mean that because you are going to be chewed up and spit out. Boundaries are not empty threats, they are promises. And if you do not show her that they are promises, bro, immense disrespect awaits you.
If you bend once, you will bend forever. And she knows this. Here's the next commandment. Select a woman whose presence strengthens your discipline, not weakens it. A woman who encourages your laziness, who tempts you to skip the gym, who laughs when you say no to distractions. That woman is setting you up for failure. She may smile while doing it. She may call it love, but it's treason, because
skip the gym. Come watch Netflix with me. Why do you always have to go to work? Why are you always picking up overtime? No, just relax. Stay home with me. Let's go to the movies. Yeah. And you know, her words will be very enticing at times, but that is a woman who is not pushing you towards success. Instead of trying to hinder you, hinder your growth, hinder your motivation, she should be finding ways to fuel it. Go ahead and go to work. Pick up that second shift. When you get back home, I'm going to have the most amazing dinner ready for you and a massage. And everything's going to be great. I'm going to take care of you when you get home. But go out there and do your thing. Do what you need to do to stay in line with your purpose. And I'll be sure to help facilitate that when you get home so that you're ready to do it again. Don't go to the gym. No, she should be making you a protein shake to help you get better results. Instead of trying to spend all your money, she should be finding ways to keep more money in your pocket. You gotta look for these traits, guys. It's very, very crucial when trying to find a high-value woman.
A real woman, a beneficial woman, is your ally in discipline. She sharpens you. She challenges you to rise higher. She holds you to your word. She doesn't beg you to stay soft. She dares you to stay sharp. And let me say something to the man who's already trapped. To the man listening right now thinking, but I've already chosen wrong. It's not too late.
Leave.
But it will cost you everything you've built around that mistake.
Yep.
Your pride, your time, maybe even your money.
Oh my gosh, bro, that... Those words... Man, those words are profound. A lot of guys will get into relationships and they will realize that they've made a huge mistake. But by the time they realize they made the huge mistake, they're 3, 4, 5 years in, sometimes more. And you've put time, effort, immense amount of sacrifice and energy into maintaining this relationship. And you, after realizing that you've made a huge mistake and you need to leave, what often keeps men in the relationship is this sunk cost fallacy. A lot of times they'll try to get value out, or they'll try to change the situation so that it becomes beneficial. But that only gets them to put more energy and time into the relationship, which just wastes more of their life. Guys, a lot of times, well, unfortunately, hopefully it's not a lot of times, but a lot of guys face this. You're going to have to accept that you're going to take a big loss. You've been with her for 5 years. God, you spent so much money. You invested so much into her. You've darn near carried her on your back. You've been through so much BS. You've put in so much time, money, and effort. The amount of miles you put on your car driving her to and from work. The amount of money you spent in the time that you've known her. And you're going to have to come to the realization and acceptance that you are going to have to take a loss on all of that. That's tough. Coming from a guy who's been there, that's tough. All the sacrifices you've made, all the time, everything, gone up in smoke, dust in the wind. And that is the cost you're going to have to accept for leaving. There will be a price, and the price is the time and investment that you put into it. And it's unfortunate, but it is necessary that you make that decision earlier, sooner rather than later, because the longer you stay there, the more it's going to cost you. So just take the loss. Take the loss. There's no way around it. There's no way that you can try to get out of the relationship while still trying to, take some value, get some value out of the relationship before you leave, or, try to recoup some of the value that you put into it. You're just going to have to take the loss. But you do so with the knowledge that the future holds so much better for you. And I say that because a lot of guys are afraid to take the did so much that they don't feel as though it's worth leaving at this point. But it is. If you've realized that you made the wrong mistake with the wrong woman, it is still worth it to leave. Take the loss, take the L, learn the lesson. I don't care if you're 50. Get out of there. Because there is a better invest in heavily you value. This is why we tell you guys to make women invest in relationships, because then they value it. Anything in life that you invest heavily in, you're going to value it and you're not going to want to let it go. If you had to work a year to be able to afford this car that you always wanted, oh man, you're going to value that car like nothing else because of the blood, sweat, and tears it took, the overtime you put in when you were tired to get it. But your brain tricks you into believing that you can't let this thing go because you've invested so much. You gotta let it go, man. There's no way around it. That you just gotta let it go. Accept the fact that you will indeed be taking a loss, but it will be beneficial in the future.
But ask yourself this: what is more expensive, leaving now or dying slowly for the next 20 years? Because make no mistake, the wrong woman will drain you until there's nothing left. And when you're empty, she will leave anyway. Because nature has no sympathy for the man who refuses to lead himself. Machiavelli knew that people respect what they fear losing. And if she doesn't fear losing you, it means you've already taught her you have no spine. But that changes today. You are not here to be a footnote in her story. You are here to be a kingdom builder. And the kingdom you build will either be strengthened or destroyed by the woman you let into it. The problem with most modern men isn't that they're weak. It's that they've been trained to believe their weakness is compassion, that letting everything slide is tolerance, that enduring disrespect is love.
Oh man, that is so crucial. You've been trained to tolerate. You've been trained to not have boundaries and standards, to be understanding of everything. This is something my ex used to say all the time. You need to be understanding of my situation, understanding of my feelings, understanding of why I lashed out, understanding of why I said what I said. Understanding. You've been trained to tolerate, when really the nature of the man, the nature of what a man is supposed to be is zero tolerance. That is masculinity. Femininity is this fluid thing. Masculinity is firm, boundaries, standards. You're not meant to tolerate. Once she realizes that you're that kind of guy who will tolerate disrespect, tolerate bad behavior, you've already lost her, bro. Stop tolerating.
Prince who is not himself wise cannot be wisely advised. Meaning what? Meaning if you are weak, you will only ever attract voices that encourage your weakness. This is why men who have no standards seem to collect the most chaotic women. You thought you were just unlucky. You thought you kept meeting the wrong ones. No, you didn't. You invited them in. You allowed them to stay. You chose them because your weakness called to their chaos like a flame calls to moths. And now you're here, listening. But it needs to be said, you are exactly where you deserve to be. Whatever woman you have in your life right now, whether she's a blessing or a curse, you selected her. Maybe through carelessness, maybe through desperation, maybe because you were bored, but you made the choice.
But the choice is yours all the same. No matter the reasons, no matter the circumstances, whether it be desperation or lust or intrigue or boredom, no matter what, no matter what led you to choosing that woman, you still chose her. So whatever woman you have in your life, it is on you. It is on you. That is so true.
And until you face that brutal truth like a man, you will keep repeating the same cycle, blaming women, blaming society, blaming bad luck. Enough. Take ownership. Because Machiavelli's lessons are only useful to the man who is ready to stop playing the victim. Here's what most men do. They wait for a perfect woman to just show up. They do nothing to build their own value. They do nothing to sharpen their judgment. They float through life hoping they'll feel when it's right. But feelings are liars. Women have mastered the art of triggering the feelings you crave. Validation, comfort, intimacy. But here's the final law. And if you forget all else, remember this. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see a thing, but few can understand it. You have eyes, but do you have insight? Do you have the courage to sit across from a beautiful woman and see through the act? Do you have the strength to walk away when your body screams to stay? Because real men choose based on wisdom, not hunger. Based on alignment, not addiction. Based on long-term strategy, not short-term lust. And here is the final commandment. Test her loyalty in your absence before you trust her in your presence. Any woman can act right when you're watching.
Test her loyalty in your absence. Oh man, I gotta hear that again, because that was deep. That was deep.
Not hunger. Based on alignment, not addiction. Based on long-term strategy, not short-term lust. And here is the final commandment. Test her loyalty in your absence before you trust her in your presence.
Test her loyalty in your absence before you trust her in your presence. Whew, that is deep. And that I made another video today about loyalty. And it was titled, Are Modern Women Even Loyal Anymore? And I was reacting to a video from a guy who was talking about modern women today and how they brag about being better cheaters. And guys, I'm telling you, in this day and age, you must test for loyalty. Loyalty is not a guarantee. It used to be a guarantee, but it was guaranteed because women had morals, values, standards, they had religion, and tied into those things were loyalty. Women nowadays, they value nothing. There is nothing that they see as higher than them. They have no higher calling. They have no duties. They have no responsibility to behave any certain way. The only thing modern women are loyal to in this day and age is their own happiness. So for you to put this expectation that she is loyal, bro, I don't know. She has no religion, right? She's not she's not religious, so she has no spiritual anything. She holds herself to no morality. A lot of these chicks are liberals. The only thing they care about is their happiness. You must test for loyalty, bro. Test, and test again. One of the things that made me trust my girl is because I remember that one of the dates, I forgot which number, but this was before I gave her commitment. She literally brought it up by herself and said, hey, by the way, if you want access to my Instagram or Facebook, I'm totally fine with that. She offered, like, I'm all in, and I don't want you thinking or even having the idea that anything is happening. So if you want access to my social medias, here it is. This woman came to me, brought up the conversation herself, and offered me all her social media as access of her own free will. That is a great step towards trust and getting a man's trust. Diabolical cheating. But she showed me in that moment that this is a woman who is worth trusting. Another reason why I saw that she was a woman worth trusting is that even when we first met, she would just give me her phone. to look through stuff. She would just give me her phone. There wasn't this fear like most women, bro, touch their phone. If your pinky finger touches their phone, if your hand comes within an inch of their phone, like alarm bells go off in their head and they lose their minds. This woman would just hand me her phone and then just fall asleep. And I would have access. If I wanted, I could go through every single thing in her phone. She would do this often. This was before I met her. I mean, not before I met her, before I committed to her officially. She would just, I was like, well, she has nothing to hide. If you just hand your phone to someone, everything's open. I can go through her pictures, text messages, social media platforms, anything. I could have done that. Just offered it up. Phone always flipped forward. And she offers me access. You must verify modern women's loyalty because it is not guaranteed.
Any woman can act right when you're watching. The true test is who she becomes when you're not. Does she keep your name clean when you're not in the room? Does she reject the attention of other men without you having to police her? Does she live by your standards when there's no reward for doing so? Or does she drift the moment your back is turned? Because the woman who cannot be trusted when you're gone is the same woman who will betray you when you're at your weakest. Do not apologize for setting high standards. Do not apologize for walking away when she fails to meet them. You are not here to settle. You are not here to gamble with your future. You are here to build. And if she cannot build with you, she will tear you down. Not because she is evil, but because that is the law of nature. Machiavelli warned rulers to fortify their cities, to secure their gates, to control their borders. Why? Because kingdoms fall when outsiders gain unchecked access to what must be protected. And you, my brother, are a king. Guard them like your life depends on it, because it does. And now you must understand the final game being played against you, the illusion of endless options. Modern society has sold you a lie that women are everywhere, that you should keep swiping, keep chasing, keep lowering your standards because there's always another one coming. But Machiavelli knew better. Men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their inheritance. And nothing bankrupts a man faster than chasing women who bring nothing but debt to his mind, his spirit, and his future. The truth is this: most women today are not worth selecting. And you know it. Deep down, you feel it. You see it. You experience it every time you open your phone and see women competing for likes but not for legacy.
That's deep. And men know it. Men know it deep down, and this is why I tell you guys to stop committing. There are very few women worth committing to. And I need reality to start reflecting that. Most women are not worthy of commitment, and you know that. Stop chasing women with no values, no morals. I mean, this is why ultimately, after my last relationship, I didn't commit to any woman for a very long time. Because I looked at the world with this newfound perspective, and I realized that very few women were in alignment with what I actually needed in a wife, even in a girlfriend. They just lacked the morals, lacked the values. So oftentimes you might even be able to get a lot of women, but you have a lot of useless individuals in your life, a lot of liabilities. Even if they can give you sexual access, that's still a liability because you knocked that woman up. And now what? Your life has taken a completely different course than it should have. Don't just let women into your life, even for like the sexual component. There's this whole saying of recreational use only. And I do agree that a lot of women are worth no more than just their sex of their own, doing. But that doesn't mean I believe that men should just seek out bottom of the barrel women only for their sexual access, because that is a trap in and of itself. It's the idea that I can engage endlessly in sex, but there will be no repercussions. There will be repercussions, unfortunately, either from a emotional aspect, a mental aspect, or a time aspect. In some way, shape, or form, dealing with these useless women will throw you off track. It will take your money. Times where you should be focusing on building yourself, you're somehow on this mission to meet up with this girl who's on the other side of town for some sex. Time when you should be saving money to invest in school or to invest in stocks or to invest in your future, you're going off on a date. You know the woman is useless. You've seen her Instagram. You've seen her dating app profile. It's nothing but sexuality. So you already know she's not a woman worth taking seriously, but you're going to go and you're going to waste money in an attempt to get her. There will be a price. It's going to be your time, your money, your peace, or your future. Something's going to give dealing with useless women. The only way dealing with a woman makes sense is if she's providing value. Other than that, it's pointless, because what you're getting in exchange for the sex that she's offering is not worth what you're losing in the process of attaining her. So I really need you guys to just not fall for the trap of, I'm just going to have a bunch of women. Trust me, I know the appeal. Been there, done that. And I'm not saying it from you might be thinking, well, you did it, you know. I'm not saying that from a hypocritical standpoint. I'm saying that because I did lose a lot. I did lose a lot. And I wish I could get back the time that I spent, because I'd be much further ahead.
Been performing for strangers, but refusing to perform as a worthy partner to a man with a mission. Yet you keep telling yourself to settle, to compromise, to tolerate. Why? Because you're scared to be alone. But here's the final blow you must accept. Better alone than with the wrong woman. Because the wrong woman will not just waste your time, she will strip you of the very thing that makes you a man, your edge, your clarity, your purpose. Look around. Look at the men you once admired, who fell in the arms of a woman who never truly respected them. Look at their faces now, tired, drained, silent. That's your future if you ignore this message. That's where you end up if you trade your principles for comfort. Because while you're entertaining the wrong woman, the right one is walking past you, watching you degrade yourself,
Facts.
watching you shrink your standards, watching you sell your future for nothing more than temporary attention. You must become a man who is willing to suffer the loneliness of rulers, to sacrifice the easy path for the path of power. The ends justify the means, and the end for you is your legacy, your peace, your purpose. The means? Ruthless, disciplined selection. Because every woman you allow in your life is either sharpening your sword or dulling your edge. There is no neutral woman. There is no harmless choice. The woman you choose will either multiply your life or multiply your misery.
She will either help you prosper or she will break you. There is no neutral. There is no neutral. There's no relationship where she doesn't have an effect either in a positive way or a negative way. The neutral that you think you have is just dead weight. Just dead weight. If you freed yourself of her, you'd have way more mobility in terms of options, not a negative or a positive. Then she's literally just dead weight. There is only two types of women, beneficial and destructive. You have to choose which one you're going to be with. You have to choose carefully.
She will either pour fuel on your fire or drain every drop of your ambition. She will either stand beside you like a fortress or tear you apart like a silent enemy within your gates. This is not paranoia. This is historical reality. Kings have fallen not by armies, but by the woman they trusted most. Great men have been reduced to nothing, not by their enemies, but by the woman they allowed into their bed, into their mind, into their kingdom. And let me tell you the brutal irony. The woman you fail to choose wisely will be the one you spend your life explaining to everyone else. You'll tell your friends you didn't know. You'll tell your family it just happened. You'll tell yourself it wasn't that bad. But deep down, you'll know. You'll know you saw the signs. You'll know you heard this very message and ignored it. And when your kingdom burns, no one will come to put out the fire, because no one saves a man from his own cowardice. Machiavelli didn't write for men who wanted to be liked. He wrote for men who wanted to win. And if you truly want to win, if you truly want to build a life worth defending, then you must choose like a ruler, not like a fool. You must test like a king, not like a beggar.
You must be ruthless in your decision making. not passive, not afraid to step on toes, not afraid to rustle any feathers. You must choose ruthlessly. Be strict. Tolerate nothing. You've been told the opposite. You've been told to tolerate everything. Be accepting of dynamics. Compromise. Compromise. Oh God, the word compromise. Men don't compromise. To compromise is to compromise on your purpose. You don't compromise. Life, everything around you must compromise itself for the goal of your future. But you can't compromise that. And because that can't be compromised, you must be strict. I need you guys to be a lot more firm and a lot more strict than you already are.
You must stand ready to walk away, not because you're cold, but because your mission is too great, your purpose is too valuable, and you stand at the edge of a decision that will define you, not just as a man, but as a builder of legacy, or as the next forgotten casualty of weakness. You've heard the warnings. You've felt the truth burning inside your chest. You know, without a doubt, that your future depends on how you select the woman beside you. Not tomorrow, not next year, right now. Because the moment you look for entertainment over alignment, you set the timer on your own destruction. I am not here to comfort you. I am here to wake you up. Because comfort is what got you here. Comfort is what made you tolerate what should have been unacceptable. Comfort is what has turned kings into beggars, warriors into servants, visionaries into forgotten men who tell themselves, it'll get better, while knowing deep down, it never will.
And we're going to end it there because that is a perfect spot to end off on it. This wasn't meant to, be a soft, nice little, watered down way of how you need to see the world. This was meant to be ruthless, cutthroat, because that is what it takes. That is what it takes to find a high value woman. And I've never seen a video like this that explained it so well. Most of the videos you see of people, how to find a high value woman, it's so watered down. It's so passive. It's just so accepting of nonsense. This is what it takes. This is what it takes. And I hope my take and my elaboration on certain topics helped you guys to really understand what you need to look for, what you need to not tolerate. Go ahead and let me know in the comment section if you got value from the video. Let me know if you've experienced anything mentioned in this video. I really want to hear from you guys, hear your take on it. Thank you guys. If you've watched the video, I really appreciate if you guys leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate your guys' help in reaching that goal. I believe we can reach that goal before the end of the month, but I need your guys' help to do that. So please like the video, and until next time, guys. I actually I'll be live streaming other times this week and upcoming weeks, so look out for that. Look out for more videos as well. I'm going to be live streaming regularly, so definitely stay tuned for that. You guys have a great night, and until next time, guys, take it easy.